When the aliens first invaded, they nearly destroyed us. They will be back. There's greatness in you, Ender.
I want to play a
The
game,
world
Ben.
needs you.
All right.
I want to play Ender's... Actually, no, I fucking don't want to play Ender's game. It's horrible.
Really?
His game is horrible, yeah.
All right. Okay. I gotta say, I don't know anything about Ender's Game other than the author of the original book. Is it Orson Scott Card?
He's a homophobe.
Yeah, he's an incredible homophobe.
Yeah. It doesn't come across in the books.
Well, all right. Okay. So they don't they don't go gay bashing at any opportunity.
No, they don't. Let me describe it to you. There's a boy called Ender, and he's a chosen one. So he gets selected to go to this special school where children are divided into different armies, and each army has its own logo of that of an animal. He then gets trained enough to fight an evil force that is coming back after we've defeated it once already.
Okay. So what?
Does that sound like anything else you've seen before?
Well, like every Marvel film we've seen recently.
Because I was just hideously reminded of Harry Potter throughout the entirety.
Oh,
of the
really?
film.
Wasn't this written way before Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, this was written in like the late 80s. Just in terms of what happened, like the basics, like the Green Army, the Evil Army.
Why are they evil?
They're just nasty people in the Green Army. He's like, oh, so you're Slytherin, and then
Oh my god, this is like a sci-fi Harry Potter. Is he in the dragon army?
he gets put in the nasty one at first, and then he learns that he's a good guy. So then he gets moved to the Dragon Army.
It's like, oh, you're not a total cunt.
Yeah.
We'll move your house. Oh god.
And there's one teacher there who takes him under his wing and is giving him special treatment and is trying to prepare him for he knows that he's going to have to be the one to deal with it, no one else. And he won't tell him the whole truth.
Oh god. This sounds so...
And then right when he's going to tell him the whole truth, he's not around anymore.
This sounds so fucking stereotypical.
Yeah.
It even goes beyond Harry Potter.
No, in all honesty, it doesn't come across like that. I just thought I'd paint it. Because if you boil down to the basics, it just sounds like every kid's film you've ever seen, but it does not like that at all. The story is, there's been an alien attack on Earth in the past, and we just about fought them off. And
You don't fuck with her. Will Smith
Yeah,
taught
well,
us that in the 90s.
well, funnily enough, the guy that's played Harrison Ford's character, the original favourite from the author of the book was Will Smith. I was like, is this because he beat the aliens the first time that you're going to get him back?
Is Harrison Ford playing anything other than a crotchety old man in this?
No, he's very crotchety, and he is an old
It's
man.
all he ever plays nowadays.
His character's called Gruff or something.
Gruff by name, gruff by nature.
Or Graff, but it's just... It's horrible. Like, it's just so cliche, his character, but he's fun. He plays like the guy that knows that Ender's the guy to do it. So he's pushing Ender. He's using the school, the battle school, as a way to push Ender further than all the other kids. So he's like,
He's bullying him.
he's bullying him. He's just stacking the odds completely against him and seeing what happens. And Ender keeps coming out on top every time. And some of the stuff they end up doing to him is pretty, like, dark for it. Like, this is the darkest things I've seen in a kid's film. Just in terms of scale.
Shower rape.
Not far off. I wouldn't use the word rape, but I didn't know what was going to happen in the end of that scene.
Molestation.
He put a stop to it, you see. So he's been... The problem is that the aliens we know are coming back, but they live so far away that our current military commanders will be dead when they get here.
Right.
So he has to train... They've got to train kids so that when the aliens... At the time when the aliens arrive, the kids will be
Adults
adult-aged.
and ready to fight.
Yeah. Which kind of makes it gets around the why you training kids to be soldiers thing.
Yeah.
But that turns out to be all bollocks later on in the film anyway.
Ooh, plot twist.
Yeah, there's a plot
That's
twist.
been ruined.
No, that's not the real plot twist. Not that there is one or isn't one.
Backtracking.
So he goes to battle school, and you get set in armies, and you get like lectures in strategy, and it reminded me of the Spartans on Reach in the Fall of Reach book, except that their school is in a space station, and every day they have zero-G battles with the whole, like, one army at one side of the room, one army at another side of the room, and there's a big dome that's just zero-G.
Is it like a futuristic bulldog?
Well, yeah, but I didn't get this from watching the film, but it teaches them the strategy of of maneuvering, like, flagships and stuff.
Right.
Because it's like, you've got to think in 3 dimensions and move, so Ender's the commander by the end of the film, and he's captain of his army, so he's got to, like, decide which people to move around, which then mirrors his space battles he has later.
Oh.
And that doesn't really come across in the film. You just think they're in zero G, like punching each other.
So you read the book, didn't you?
Yeah, I read it straight after I watched the film.
Right. Oh, you almost gonna like this then.
It was just really interesting because it poses a lot of questions, like more than Halo did, about the ethics of using child soldiers.
Yeah.
Because in Halo, it's always been frowned upon, especially in Halo 4.
Yeah, it's like
She's like a war criminal now, Halsey.
Yeah.
Hesley. And whereas in this, it's sort of, it's public knowledge and everyone wants their kid to be in the, like, army.
Well, let's just bring back national service.
Well, it's just...
Teach them some discipline.
Yeah. So it really starts asking you questions about it. Again, the film not so much as the book does. There's a lot that the film doesn't cover and that the book did. It focuses more on the action and the storyline.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what sells tickets, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is the one
I can see why they did it. It was pretty good.
Is this a franchise? Like, as in, is there multiple books? Or is it
yeah,
just
but I don't know what they're going to do because the sequel to Ender's Game sees a 35-year-old Ender 3,000 years after the events of the first book. So I don't know how they'd turn this into a franchise unless they sort of...
condensed it or something.
Well,
Timeline.
There is, everything's set up for this to be a franchise, and I think it's doing all right at the American box office. I'm not sure, I haven't read a single review on it.
No,
yet.
I've not.
Sorry, it's not out at the American box office yet. I apologise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it comes out. It's either this week or next week.
Right, okay. All right.
We got it first.
We're getting in early then, aren't we?
I know. I think it's because it's like a huge book in America. Like I didn't know it was a book, and I'd heard the term.
I've heard the name, but I think it comes from the fact that hasn't this film been in like limbo for fucking decades?
Yeah, it has. It's gone from studio to studio and eventually settled. Every time the rights became available, this one woman was trying to buy them, and they were like, "No, I'm going to give it to Warner Brothers." And then Warner Brothers failed, and she asked again. He's like, "No, I'm going to give it to Universal," and Universal failed. And eventually, he's like, "Well, I've burned through all the studios, so yeah, I'll give it to you." And she managed to make it work, and I think she has. She put together a really nice cast. It's probably the biggest budget indie film I've ever seen.
Bigger than Kick-Ass?
I think so. Yeah, it's the special effects in this were really, really good.
Nice. I like. You sometimes find these indie films, these lower budget films that do kind of sci-fi special effects, have nicer special effects because they've got to put a bit of thought into them because they don't necessarily have the money.
Yeah, probably.
Like District 9.
That was really good.
That does very well. It plays its special effects very well for its budget. So this does something similar.
Well, there's like a CG. There must be a CG image in every shot. Is how it's different in District 9 because I'm guessing that doesn't necessarily have one every sort of 3 seconds. But they're on a space station. Most of the film is them fighting in zero G, or when they move on to command school. Ender's like in the middle, and he's commanding his lieutenants, who are his best allies from battle school, and they're then commanding units beyond that. And it's just like all these amazing space battles in a simulator are played out in full sort of, obviously CG, because they're not really going to go to space and do it. Like they did with Gravity, I heard. It's realistic enough to look like it's in space, but this isn't.
It's realistic to look like it's in a book.
Well, I'd love to see the budget on it. Because they've got a big cast list as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Harrison Ford, Sir Ben Kingsley, and then all the other kids.
Arthur Butterfield, he's probably he's the biggest English child actor at the minute.
I don't really know who
he was in Hugo.
Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Right.
And you've got Haley Steinfeld, who you like. I've not seen True Grit yet.
She disappeared after True Grit, and it's only now she's come out. She's been in this and Romeo and Juliet, which looked a bit ropey, to be honest. I never saw it. It might be good. But she was really good in True Grit. But
she's really good in this. She just doesn't get a lot of screen time. Her character's far more interesting in the book, and I imagine that it's just one of them things that got cut to make room for the action.
Yeah, maybe it is, but yeah, she doesn't feel like she's done a whole lot since True Grit, and it's a shame because she was fucking class in True Grit. Saying that, she's done a lot, but it seems to be short films and unknown.
You just see more of an artist than a. I don't like as she sees it as an art form, and then she's done this. This is the only proper sort of popcorn flick I can think of she's done.
Yeah, maybe she's a bit like Jennifer Lawrence in that respect.
Yeah,
it was a bit like that when she was
projects, younger. Yeah. But so she plays Petra, who is when Ender first gets there, he's like the youngling at battle school, and he gets put in a really shitty army of just like newbies. And they have to go up against like real armies that have been training for like 2 years. And by real armies, there's still like 14-year-olds in it. And she plays like one of the only girls at battle school because girls apparently just can't get in as easily.
Austin Scott Card is a massive fascist, apparently.
That's probably does slip through then. But she's probably like second only to Ender, and Ender is a bit of a nutcase. I mean, it doesn't cover it in the film again, but it sounds like he's been almost in the book genetically modified, so he's like hyper intelligent.
Right.
And his brother is a psychopath who didn't get through the program.
Is he in this film?
Yeah, but he's only in the opening scene. Whereas in the book, he goes. There's a parallel story on Earth with his brother and sister. His sister's played by Abigail Breslin, and who is what's her face from Eternal? No, not Eternal Sunshine. Little Miss Sunshine and Zombieland.
Oh yeah. Oh,
She was really cool.
I like her.
And it's sad that this Earth storyline wasn't, because she's, obviously, there's 3 kids. There's the older brother who's a psychopath, then there's her that is sort of too nice to people, and Ender was supposed to be the right balance between...
Ah, right, so the finally...
The
finally got there. It's like the 3 bears.
Well, exactly. The third one is always the best.
Not if you're an X-Man film. Or a Godfather film. I'm sure there's more.
I'm sure there is. A Star Wars film.
Star Wars film. Well, it depends.
Although we're dissing Return of the Jedi, are we? So.
Well, the thing is, I think Revenge of the Sith's the best one of the prequels.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's not got a lot of competition, but it's still the best.
This is what like Star Wars could have been almost, because this could have been Jedi Academy, and
fucking
it would have been great.
That sounds like a mid-film,
yeah.
Jedi Academy. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, sci-fi doesn't really tend to do that well at the box office.
But sorry, I was going on earlier to say that we started talking about release dates and things. This is a huge book in America.
Yes.
So I
much
think
like the Hunger Games, because it wasn't. That's not something that's known over here. Or a great.
This though is like Hunger Games is just great as a book, whereas this is almost like one of the great American novels. It's taught in schools and stuff.
Really?
And, you know, it's on the required reading list for the U.S. Marines because it's apparently that tactically accurate.
Wow.
So it's like a big deal, and everyone I watch everything on Rooster Teeth, and they've done a special spoiler cast for the film, and I was just like, I didn't realize it would be big enough to warrant that.
I just hear it's a name I know, but other than that, I know nothing. I know Ben Kingsley's got some wicked tattoos.
Yeah,
he looks like a Maori.
He plays. Do you know what's right? My username on Xbox Live is Macam3 Razor, and his character is Mesa Rackham. And I was reading the book, and it was just getting really annoying because I just kept reading my own name every time I saw it because it's so similar. And I was just like, do Americans online think that I'm doing a pun on his name?
They might do. His name sounds like, you remember Dodgeball? When Ben Stiller's introducing his team?
Yeah.
He sounds like one of those guys.
He could be.
Laser.
Mesa. He plays a Maori who
he looks
he's
like
a
Maori.
badass pilot.
Right.
And
is he the nice teacher?
He's all right. He's nicer to his face. Harrison Ford's a bit of a dick to him to his face and sets up really harsh things for him. Whereas Ben Kingsley's character is really nice to his face, but then is a cunt in the background.
That's alright then, as long as anyone finds out.
Harrison Ford's is like headmaster at battle school, and Ben Kingsley's is
flight instructor.
No, he's in fly, and
right.
he sits in a command booth and tells it. He's commander.
Fair enough.
He's they've done this weird thing where he won the last war and apparently sacrificed himself, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to be your teacher now." He's like, "Yeah, but you're dead." He's like, "No, no."
Fair enough. Yeah. You got Viola Davis in this as well. Is she in it much?
She is, but she had nothing to do. She basically gives Harrison Ford a reason to talk to someone.
All right, because he's a crotchety old man.
Yeah. In the book, it's every chapter starts with Harrison Ford's character talking to her,
right,
about Ender and like what they're going to do to him next. And she's always like, you can't do this. This is where all the questions. She's the voice of reason,
right.
And he's like, no, but it's a cost. It's a price we have to pay, type thing. And they try and pull that off here, but it's just like there's no need for it. She's a psychoanalyst person. She's monitoring his
progress.
Yeah, and his well-being. And she's there to look out for him.
All right, okay. This is directed by Gavin Hood, who I must admit I don't really know a whole lot about him, but just looking at what he's known for, I don't like him.
Rendition was supposed to be good, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure he's got some good stuff. But
the direction was neither here nor there. I'm sure the only, as I say, this was an indie film. I looked into his appointment, and it's because he was so passionate about the project was the only reason he got it.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm guessing that he was the biggest name actor that was willing to do it for less pay or something.
Very possibly. I just want to name him Shaman. He's the bastard that gave us fucking Wolverine Origins.
Just an unnecessary film.
in every
in
fucking
every
way,
way.
shape, or form.
I could have seen someone better take this on. Kenneth Branagh. Like,
What was the guy who did the Hunger Games? Gary Ross.
yeah, he could have done. He would have done really well in this because he did well cutting around the violence and the sort of the horror of what was actually happening to these kids in Hunger Games.
Is this particularly violent?
No, there's no blood or anything. The scale is more violent because there's a global war with some aliens. But
Yeah. Does it? All right. Okay. Does it draw any more?
there's more blood
parallels?
than Hunger. No, it's not really. I didn't see this as parallel with Hunger Games. It was more in parallel with Harry Potter.
Sorry, that's
But it
what
was like
yeah.
it was like imagine if you condensed all 7 films down into one. So it was like
Right.
he went through school and then had the final confrontation
Okay.
in one film. Like I'm surprised they didn't string it out because in the book it was really progressed between his first part of his life, his battle school, and then his command school.
Right. So you could almost have a trilogy.
You could have had
just out of that.
an endless trilogy, but I think they weren't willing to take the risk because it was an indie film. I think they wanted to tell the story in the
Yeah.
book.
That's fair enough. And to be
Just
honest,
in case.
was there even a climax in each one that you could have?
You could have, yeah,
Right.
you could have worked one in.
Okay.
It would have been like, the second one would have been like Empire Strikes Back, where it was like just an emotional climax.
Right.
And then that would have set you up for the third horrific installment.
the third one. Okay then. So
Oh, but let's.
As-
this is a kids' film. Before you ask what
yeah,
you're
well,
ask.
no. I was just going to kind of say that. Fucking hell, actually, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Sorry.
So as somebody who's read the book,
Mhm.
is this a faithful adaptation? Well, because as you say, this is a big thing in America. Are people going to be pissed off?
No, then I don't think so. They might. I think the parallel storyline on Earth is completely dropped, and they sort of dropped the expanded universe thing, so you never get a sense of what's where or something. Whereas
Right.
and like the political situation on Earth is heavily referenced
Right. But it's not,
because as soon as the
is that in the book or the film?
in the book.
But not in the film.
No, because there's 3 factions on Earth that have sort of banded together to build this international fleet.
Right.
But there's this horrific sort of political dissent going on that once the war with the aliens is over, we're going to erupt into a new world war to see who's going to get control. So there's that, like, should we end the war with the aliens and then just be at war with ourselves? Or
Yeah.
but that's all dropped completely. This is about
Right.
Ender against the aliens.
I mean, I suppose that's fair enough. You can only do so much in a... How long is this movie? 2 hours?
Yeah, probably. It feels it felt like it was quite long because they did cram a lot in.
Yeah, it's just under 2 hours.
Yeah, it probably sounds.
I think
about
that's
right.
enough for a kids' movie.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're going too long.
I never got bored.
No, I to me, I must admit, I've heard good things about this film. I've heard it's
Yeah.
pretty damn good. It's kind of like what The Hunger Games was. It's a good film that's primarily for kids, but it's good enough that adults will enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it really reminded me of what a Star Wars film should be. It was fun, but it was also dramatic, and they never just had people talking about what was happening. They were either they showed you what was happening, and
Right.
they would react to it rather than talking about their reaction to it, which is
Yeah,
what
in a real
heavily,
monotone way.
which was, all I can imagine about the Star Wars prequels is watching 2 people walking down past a green screen talking about things that are happening. That's all I imagine when I think of the Star Wars prequels. Whereas this is how it should have been done.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like you've got a fairly positive opinion of this.
Yeah.
I
Well, I was
mean-
just as surprised.
Yeah, as I say,
I didn't expect
don't
it
know
to be
anything about
bad.
it. I did want to go and see this. I never got round to it. I ended up seeing something else just to maybe spread our coverage. But I do kind of want to see it. I'll probably have to wait till home release.
Yeah,
now, but
I'm going to buy it.
All right,
It looks
well,
good enough for a Blu-ray as well.
That's
So
ringing
Yeah.
endorsement. I mean, have you decided on your rating?
yes, the film-wise, I would give it an A-, just because it was a surprise. It was impressive. It looked good. I thought the acting was good. Like, I think Asa Butterfield did a really good job because
Well-
Ender is a really complex character.
He's got kind of big things. I mean, he was in Hugo, which was
Yeah,
widely
massive.
praised.
I don't know what he's got next on his agenda.
No, I don't know myself actually, but I tell you what, he's doing alright for co-stars as well because in Hugo he had Hit Girl,
did
Chloe
he?
Moretz, and in this he's
Oh, yeah,
got
of course he did.
Haley Steinfeld,
Yeah, do you think he's...
and he's a boy with the striped pajamas.
There we go. Yes, he is.
he's doing all right?
So he's not doing much by the looks of things, but he was really good. And I mean, not a lot of these co-stars were given a lot to do, and a lot of the time he was made to look more impressive than them just from like the plot. But he handled it. He was like he's a really humble character, and when he gets made leader of his own army. Oh well, no, it's even better when he's taking orders from an arsehole. he just handles it really well, and I think he gave the character more depth than even the character has in the book.
Right, cool. So
He's really good.
he did it justice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Interestingly, though, they pulled a Game of Thrones because everyone in the Ender in the book is supposed to be 6, and then 8 by the end of it.
Right, but the age.
He's like 15 in this. It makes a bit more sense.
That's fair enough, because let's face it, how many 8-year-olds are
Exactly.
good?
And the stuff that Ender has to go through in this is
Child
really...
rape.
So I would give it an A-, but I'm gonna knock it down to a B+ on the mere fact that I don't like how they stole Mass Effect's font for the poster.
Did they? Did they? I don't know, man. Get grabbed in the box. Alright, yeah, kind of. I can see it. Yeah. God damn.
B+.
Well, I suppose it sounds like... it's, well, pretty much these aliens sound like the Reapers.
No, they're more like...
Or a localised version.
Honestly, the closest parallel in terms of the sci-fi plots of this would be Starship Troopers.
Wow, oh man,
Yeah.
sold me.
On the book, because of all the political stuff going on and the thing about citizenship in the Starship Troopers film,
Yeah.
I think Starship Troopers was probably
Closer.
based... Yeah.
Do we get Michael Ironside in this?
He would have been awesome as Harrison Ford's character.
I love Michael Ironside.
He should just be every Space Marines trainer in every film coming.
He's badass.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was cool. Alright, so so an A- film that's getting knocked down to a B+ because it's still artistic. It's an artistic thief.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We should tell him the truth.
Why?
When it's over, what will be left of the boy?
What does it matter if there's nothing left at all?
If you don't try, then we will all be lost.
I'll do everything I can to win this war.
If you succeed, you will be remembered as a hero.
He's abandoning his entire fleet.
He's in command. There's no stopping him now.
In 3, 2,